ABC of Ketogenic Diet Part 3. The only way to monitor ketosis reliably is to measure ketone bodies from the blood. For this, special strips are needed that cost approximately $3 per percent. Reaching the state of ketosis requires maintaining immaculate control on the amount of nutrients, fats, carbohydrates, protein, for a long period. Even small mistakes in the amounts of nutrients can prevent a stable ketosis. If a ketogenic diet is implemented incorrectly, without ketosis, it can do more harm than good, and excessive fat is gathered in the body. Ketogenic diet is traditionally based mostly on animal sources, so vegans have to restrict their food choices even more. Fatty foods contain very little amounts of fiber, so it is very important to make sure to have enough fiber in the diet for the health of the gut, without exceeding the amount of carbohydrates. Ketogenic diet lacks fruits, berries that contain enough C vitamin, so it's recommended to take it as a supplement. For the body to create a sufficient amount of ketone bodies, the amount of carbohydrates has to be restricted, under 25 grams per day. Most of the daily energy has to come from fats, greater than 75%. Protein must be obtained only so much to maintain muscle mass, 0.8 to 1 gram per day, but not more, because protein is turned into glucose in the liver, which is one reason why many people do not reach ketosis. It may take 2 to 4 weeks or even longer for the body to adapt to produce and use ketone bodies as energy. In the adaptation phase, some side effects can occur which are called keto flu. In the adaptation phase, the following can occur: tiredness, apathy, slow thinking, lack of concentration, dizziness, vertigo, changes in bowel movement, diarrhea or constipation, nausea, decrease of physical and cognitive performance. Some of the symptoms are caused by the lack of the ability of the brain and other tissue to properly utilize ketone bodies, and due to the shortage of glucose, they are hungry. Another problem is that, in a ketogenic diet, the need for fluids and electrolytes is a lot higher, and if it is not compensated, one could get dehydrated. Make sure to drink at least 2 liters or half a gallon of water a day, with some salt or mineral water if needed. The good news is, however, that the faster you'll reach good ketosis, the faster you'll feel better. When your body has fully adapted to ketosis, you'll most likely feel more energetic than ever. If you want to get to ketosis quicker and adjust your diet on a daily basis, ketone bodies should be monitored through a blood test taken from your fingertips. Monitoring of ketone bodies should be started a few days after starting the diet. At first, the monitoring should be done daily, in the mornings, because it is the best time to evaluate the state of ketosis. The need to measure ketone bodies decreases when the body stays in ketosis for longer and you get used to the diet lifestyle. Note: urine strips for the measuring ketosis are cheap, but inaccurate, and they are not reliable tools to evaluate ketosis or the success of the diet. The minimum target of ketone bodies in blood is 0.5 mmol/L. At the level of 0.5 to 1 mmol/L, the body is partly resisting ketone bodies. For this reason, everyone who wants to get maximum benefit from a low-carbohydrate diet, the target level should be greater than 1.0 mmol/L. Note: there is no maximum limit for ketone bodies. It is impossible to produce dangerous amounts of ketone bodies with a diet. When implemented correctly, a ketogenic diet is completely safe, and those who say otherwise don't understand the physiology behind ketosis. It is still important to pay attention to the following 3 things. Drink enough fluids to prevent drying up. Dizziness, apathy, body temperature changes, thirstiness and dry mouth are typical symptoms of dehydration. If there is no specific reason to limit fluid intake, aim to drink 2 liters of water with food. Sufficient intake of electrolytes, salts and other micronutrients. In a ketogenic diet, the body loses more electrolytes than usual. For this reason, it is not necessary to limit the intake of salt and other electrolytes, without a specific reason. Drinking mineral water is probably the best way to guarantee sufficient intake of fluids and electrolytes. During a longer period of a ketogenic diet, it is smart to take water-soluble vitamins as a supplement, especially vitamin C. Take different medication, illnesses and other health-related situations into account. If you are unsure if a ketogenic diet is a safe choice for you, or if you don't know if it has an effect on your medication, you should definitely consult a doctor. Typical situations: A. Insulin treatment. B. Kidney disease. C. Too low blood pressure. D. Diuretic medication. E. specific gastrointestinal diseases F, problems with the concentrations of sodium, potassium, or other electrolytes G, other genetic and metabolic diseases. Even though ketone bodies are the primary indicator on a ketogenic diet, it doesn't mean that the total caloric intake can be forgotten. The total caloric intake should be similar to every other diet, depending on one's goals. It is reasonable to begin a ketogenic diet with a negative caloric intake regardless of the goal of losing weight or not. This is because when the body depletes itself of carbohydrates in storage and ketosis can be reached faster, so the symptoms of keto flu will occur for a shorter period of time. If your goal is to lose weight, it is necessary to adjust the caloric amount according to weight loss. For the first 2 weeks, most likely regarding the caloric intake, you will lose a few kilos of fluid that has been bound to carbohydrates. Only when the weight loss reaches a steady pace one can evaluate if the caloric intake is correctly estimated for weight loss. Even in the case of a ketogenic diet, physical rules are as valid as in any other diet. Energy obtained from food, consumed energy equals difference in weight. In a ketogenic diet, meticulous measuring of the weight of all food is necessary, as well as monitoring all macronutrients at least for the first couple of months. There are many online and offline tools and apps for that, MyFitnessPal for example. Over 75% of all the energy should come from fats. Soft fats and omega fatty acids should be obtained sufficiently, but animal fats and hard fats should not be avoided during ketosis, because most of it is turned into ketone bodies anyway. Carbohydrate intake should be limited to up to 25 grams a day. When a stable ketosis is achieved, carbohydrates can be increased a little bit, but at the same time the level of ketone bodies have to be monitored. Proteins should be consumed the amount that is left from the target caloric intake after fats and carbohydrates. Example: total energy consumption calculator result is 1,900 kilocalories nutrients and energy in a day. kcal 1400 carbohydrates under 25 grams protein 60 grams fat 118 grams.